And you get to take them home. So you have to do a good job of it because you're going to live with it for the rest of your life.
So you can tell by our funny accent that we're not from here. We're from Melbourne, Australia. And we're going to be talking about our beautiful country, and we're going to be talking about the musical instruments called the didgeridoo and some of the animals as well. So take it away, Pete.
So just to give you a quick introduction, these are the first people that ever lived on Australia. We were all from Europe and we just took over the country. But they still live in the very north of Australia mostly. And that big rock there, you may have heard of it, it's called Uluru. It's a massive, huge rock in the middle of Australia. It's made of iron mostly, and Bobbi's actually climbed it.
Yep.
You're not allowed to do that now. So
I climbed it.
And that bit up the top there is the Aboriginal flag. I really like it. It's got the red dirt, a sun going down and a black sky because it's becoming night. And that's their flag that they like to show. These didgeridoos are part of their culture and they gave me permission to use them. And in return, I like to talk about them because it's out of respect that I like to mention them and this beautiful thing they have here. So, without further ado, we should move on to the next part.
Yep.
Well, that's them. And this is called a corroboree where they dance, and you're going to see they're all painted up. And there'll be a didgeridoo player in the corner there. They always hide. Don't know why. But this is them.
And corroboree means celebration. So this is a celebration. You got boomerangs being clicked, we've got didgeridoo in the background, and we've got these wonderful dancers.
He's the best dancer there. I reckon he is. So pretty cool. Now that goes for about 2 hours. We haven't got time to do the whole thing. But as you can see, they were using boomerangs, which is another famous thing from Australia. And just to let you know that the boomerang that we would use normally is this one here. This is a real one. And when you throw it, it'll come back to you. Like, yeah, throw it like that. Those are for children. When the adults use a boomerang, it's to get a kangaroo, because if you wanted to spear a kangaroo, it's going to be pretty hard because they're doing this all the time. So what they do is they work out where the kangaroo is. It's not cruel because they eat everything they kill, and they don't kill it just for fun. They just do it because they need food. And what they'll do is they'll work out how he's bouncing, and they'll throw this giant one, it's about that big. Just throw that out and then hit him on the head, knock him out, and then they can go up to him and get him prepared for dinner. And kangaroo is actually really nice, by the way. But yeah, they paint themselves up like, it's so cool. And I've actually danced with them. I really am not good at it. This is harder than you think. So, okay. The reason we call them Australian Aborigines is because none of us we're all too lazy to try and pronounce their names of their clans. And their clans are big, extended families that get bigger and bigger and bigger. The ones that play didgeridoo, they've been doing it passed down from their father. Women are not allowed to play them, but doesn't matter, we don't have to worry about that. But anybody want to have a go at that name at the top there, how you say that? Anyone brave enough? Any youngsters? You always like to, do you want to have a go? Oh, fair enough. Anybody? Okay, I'll do it. It's called Pitjat Janjara. And that's just one family of many, many families. The other one, this one's an easy one. Anyone have a crack at the next one down there? There you go. Sounded like you were an Aborigine then. Okay, and what about this torturous one on the bottom? It's pretty good. Yeah, just got to get that. So it's Yankan Yit Jat Jara. So the people of Australia, the original people, they never write anything down. So it's all by listening, and that's how they communicate. This is a witchetty grub. It's this big. It lives under the witchetty bush. And what happened to me one time is my father and I were in the middle of Australia. We didn't have any food, and some Aboriginal people came along, and this is what we had for dinner. It tastes like chicken. No, it doesn't. It tastes revolting. But they eat them while they're still squirmy, moving around like, ooh. So they're eating those. And they also grab lizards, and they will have the lizards hanging off the side of their belt, and it's jerky because it dries out with the sun, and so you get jerky and that thing. And I tell you now, we hadn't eaten for a week, so I would have eaten McDonald's. That's how bad it was. So that was my dinner for... Gorgeous, aren't they? Wouldn't you like to try that? Anybody want to eat that? Because I can bring them in. And we did the boomerang.
We did the boomerang.
We got that done.
Did the boomerang.
So
we all
that's the
saw
big
that.
one. This is the one used for hunting. That doesn't come back. Okay, so here we are. Now you're all going to be making your own didgeridoos. These are original ones made of a eucalyptus tree. And what I'd like to tell you is, humans don't make them. They do the painting, and
To the kangaroo.
if you put your fingers inside the bottom there,
Crocodile.
you can feel the tracks because white ants or termites have eaten out the middle of the tree. So they find them like that hollow, and then they will cut them to size because they're actually in keys. That's why I have so many of them. This one's in D, this one's in C, this one's in F, and that one's a bit of fun. That's just, I'll show you that one later. And the one Bobbi's taken there was my very first didgeridoo I ever had. And that's got a long story. We haven't got enough time for that one, but you can see the beautiful artwork on them that the Aboriginal people did. They like to do. This one is believe it or not, this is the most expensive didgeridoo I have because if you look at it, it's very rare. It has a bell on the bottom and it comes in. And for you who are professional didgeridoo players, you'll know that helps for back pressure, so it makes it easy to do. The weirdest thing I've ever learnt, circular breathing. Everyone heard of that? Circular breathing? Yeah. Took me 6 months to learn it because I'm lazy. You know, I don't do anything in a hurry. And my Aboriginal friends actually put me aside and actually started teaching me. And I was sitting there going, I don't really want to do this. But they said, no, you can do it, mate. No, and they talk like that. So what you do, because you kids and some of the adults that want to paint these things, you're going to want to play them. So I'm going to show you how. And these will be smaller, but they were made for kids. But once you know how to do it, you can be a professional didgeridoo player and travel the world. So what you do is you blow a raspberry. Everyone know how to blow a raspberry? That's it. Right? So then you put your lips on your didgeridoo, and you don't have to, because it's long doesn't mean you have to throw tons of air in. You don't. Everything's done up here. And you puff your cheeks out like, right? And as you're blowing down, you're sniffing air back in, so you're keeping it going. I know, I never thought I could do it, but people have been known to do it straight away. Usually kids, because they're not afraid of anything, right? Okay, so this is what it sounds like. This is the sound of a $2,000 didgeridoo. Isn't that cool? That's it. And I haven't breathed at all in that whole thing. So you're trying to get some into your body to stay alive, but most of it's being used to make the sound. So if you get it wrong, you know, we do have a doctor outside. So this is everyone's favourite one here. That's pretty, isn't it? Does anybody know what this is on here? Anyone have a guess? Nothing? I'm getting nothing here. Well, they're dolphins. That's done in a traditional dotted artwork, which is more for tourists now. They don't really do that kind of artwork. The artwork they do is more like that one with this crocodile there. But this one sounds beautiful. Sounds great, doesn't it? And this one has beeswax on it. It looks nasty, but it's perfectly clean. They just go dark with heat. But as you can see there, it's got, and that's for, everyone's lips are different, so you make them the size that suits you. It takes a bit of time, so I'll just leave them down here. This one is made out of PVC. It's 2 pieces. I designed it, and I made sure they didn't mind me doing this, because when I was in my band, it used to have a little fun to it. So it's like a didgeridoo. So it's a trombone didgeridoo thing. It's my invention. And that, obviously that's some plumbing thing. Somebody said it was a Fernco. I have no idea. And this is stuff used in bathrooms. This hasn't ever been used in a bathroom. I used to go into Lowe's, or whichever, it doesn't matter, I'm not sponsored by them. And I'd pick up the tubes there and play them just to freak people out. It's a lot of fun. So if you learn to do this, you can go in and just freak people out, you know, do that. Home Depot, whatever, you know. So this one's fun. Can make you go really spin out, you know, like freaky. You like that? Get nothing. All right, let's move on. A lot of the times when they're doing some didgeridoo playing, they'll talk about their animals. And when you start painting on your didgeridoos, think about some of the animals. This is a dingo. It's not a dog, and you would never want to go near it. It's actually related to wolves, so it's a wolf. And they're absolutely gorgeous, but very dangerous. And a lot of people know that thing about dingo took your baby. Yeah. It did. No, it really did. They do things like that. So stay away. There you go. The kangaroo, very famous. They can be up to 6 feet tall, and they can go about 45 miles an hour hopping along. Really clever in the heat that they can move that fast. I do have some video of them moving along. There's 2 just about to do some boxing. Famous for it, so you can just see, there they are, gorgeous things.
Did we tell everyone about how the kangaroos are marsupials yet?
I haven't done that bit.
Okay, well, marsupial is a pouched animal, and in Australia we have the most number of marsupials in the world. So most of our animals have these pouches, and their babies live in the pouch. They start off as like a little bean, and then they climb into mum's pouch, live there for a while until they get big enough that you've got a little baby there. And all the baby marsupials are called joeys. So that's the same thing with koalas. They're called joeys. And at some point, about 6 months, mum kicks the baby out of the pouch, and then the joey stays with mum for about a year.
The joey doesn't want to leave, but she has to get him out.
Yeah, because it gets too heavy.
Time to move on. Get out of here. But yeah, well, we've got more marsupials. America has one. Does anybody know what that is?
Possum, yeah. The possum is a marsupial.
The opossum.
Opossum, yeah. And they're also mammals as well, so they feed all their baby joeys milk.
So here's an idea of some artwork. So when you're painting your didgeridoos, maybe you could paint something like this and be a master of Aboriginal art with the dots and the... If you can see there, they show the insides of the animal.
Yeah. It's really what's really interesting about Indigenous Australian art is that you'll see the outline of the animal, you'll see the spine, you'll see the inside of the stomach. And then Australia, I don't know if we did tell you, but we're a very, very dry country. Like we have about 20,000 lakes in the entire country. In the state of Michigan, we've got over 10,000 lakes just in one state. So there's not a lot of fresh water. So when you're a nomadic clan, like an Australian Indigenous person, it's really important to know where the water holes are. So what you're going to see in a lot of Indigenous art, you're going to see these circles, and they symbolise water holes. And these are the tracks or the highways going to all the water holes. So doing these circles and animal tracks is also another thing that you can put on in your Aboriginal Indigenous art.
Wait till you hear this guy. 6 in the morning. And then it stops and you think, that's good, I can go back to sleep now. That is annoying.
So
He eats snakes.
he eats snakes. So the kookaburra is round about this big, and it's got a very thick beak. We should see that picture of that kookaburra if you go to the next slide. So you see that nice big thick beak up there. So the kookaburra will fly along, see it like a snake squirming along the ground. He'll fly down, come down, scoop up that snake, and then he'll crack the snake's back, and you'll often see them flying along with a snake in their mouth. So watch out if they drop it though.
And Australia has the 10 most venomous snakes in the world. We're known for it.
Yeah.
I've never been bitten by one. And we were talking before about being bitten because people say, I'm not going to Australia, you've got all these animals that can kill you. And I went, yeah, but they don't. They actually would rather move away from us. And in all the years I lived there, I never got bitten by anything until I moved to Michigan. And I got bitten by a black widow spider. Thank you.
So there you go. It's more dangerous here.
And there's some more artwork.
Here's some more artwork. This is the kookaburra. You'll see the outline of the kookaburra. And we're going to see there's some water holes. We've got some tracks. We've got some dots. We've got some stripes. So that's something to keep in mind when you do your own didgeridoo design. So this is the emu. And the emu is like a large flightless bird. It's like the African ostrich, a bit smaller. But they have the largest eggs in the world. The eggs are about this big. They're huge.
Yeah,
and what's
that's a
interesting
breakfast right
is that the male emu, he sits on the nest and he rears the chicks. So I think that's
There you
pretty
go,
cool,
ladies.
huh?
The men have to do the work. Well, often when you say that, some of the guys are going, oh, really? Mm-hmm. And there's another type of artwork. These are from different families that are doing different kinds of artwork. So same thing, they show water holes and the insides. So the Aboriginal people of Australia were the first people to have X-rays over 10,000 years ago.
Yeah, so you see the
pretty cool.
inside there, which is pretty cool. This is the goanna.
This guy here, he's called a racehorse goanna because he can run really fast. And he's about 6 foot long. And if you're standing in front of him and he's running towards you, he will not stop. He will run over you. They can actually go up and back. I'm not joking. If you would like to try it out, I'll see if I can get one and then you can stand in front of it and see what happens. No one's ever offered. So, yeah, I just like that picture of him. And there's another bit of artwork. So you're getting ideas for doing your didgeridoos. This is the world's most poisonous snake. If this one ever bit you, you have 45 seconds and that's it. Luckily, it's shy. It doesn't know it can do that to people. Thank goodness. But it's a beautiful looking snake though.
Yeah, and we've got some really good artwork of it too.
The secret is, if you ever go to Australia, how many people want to go to Australia?
Yay! No one wants to go. Yes.
So we could, yeah.
Have we scared you that
talking them out
much?
of it. So, like, if you went there, this guy's not going to go near you. He's going to run away. They're really small. They're only about that big. It's a little small snake. It just looks fabulous. And that is kind of more of a modern kind of vibe.
And we'll leave that one up. We'll leave that. So now we're going to get to the point we're going to start talking about creating our own didgeridoos, and we're going to do that as on a didgeridoo pipe. So I just want to give you an example. Here's a didgeridoo, and you see we've got this beautiful crocodile right down the centre. So when you do your didgeridoo pipe, you're going to have the top of it, which is your mouthpiece there, and it's going to be a stripe on either end. And I want you to just go down one side. So that's the first thing that I want you to do, go down one side. So like you could create the crocodile, you can do dots, like I've done what we have there, or you could actually create the outline of a crocodile and draw it all the way down. Or you might want to do a snake all the way down. So I'll just give you another example. It's all about patterns. Here's another example that some students have created. So I'll show you all just to give you some inspiration. So,
Are some of the adults going to do this?
the adults are
Paint
going to be
some
doing this.
didgeridoos? Good. The kids will be better though.
There you go. Now, the original didgeridoos, when they started painting, they just had to use the natural elements that were there available to them, so that they would use emu egg, they would use rock dust, and they'd mix it all together. They'd use sap from plants, they'd use honey, and that's how they would create their paint. So what you've got in front of you, you've got some paint there, you've got some yellow, you've got some orange, white and red, and they're all kind of colours of the earth of Australia.
Okay, so we're going to be handing them out to everyone who wants them. If you don't want them, you're still getting it.
Just one more thing before we start. So each of you, you're going to get one of these. So like I said, this is the top, this is the bottom, this is the lip part here. So if you are right-handed, when you paint, you're going to use your left hand to hold it in place. I suggest you go across this way on the table so you use the most amount of the space. Use one hand to hold it, and then you point down one side. Now, if you are left-handed, you're just going to flip it over to the other side, but you have to keep it steady because otherwise it's going to roll. So what we're going to do now with the paint, just less is more. Don't splash it all over the place. Just a gentle dip in the paint. Dip in the water. You've got some paper towel to clean the didgeridoo, clean your hands, so forth. But we want very light dots, stripes, circles, animal tracks on the didgeridoo pipe. So if you put too much paint, it's going to take too long to dry. So with these paint trays, please don't mix up all the colours. Try to keep them the red in the red, the yellow in the yellow, the white in the white, the orange in the orange, okay? Thank you very much. We're going to start sending these pipes out to you now. As soon as you get your pipe, you can start painting. And then once we've finished our didgeridoo pipes, we're going to dry them with the hair dryers that are around the room. And then we're going to play.